Welcome back.
Hey, it's P.
Oh, damn. It's time.
That was super loud.
Yeah, be
Real
careful
loud.
over there. Careful over there. What's up, everybody?
We back. Northside Plug.
Welcome back, everybody, to another edition of Northside Plugged here at Q4 Radio.
Oh, yeah.
As always, it's Justice on the boards, Boss Dan, G Money, G Note, and
Yo.
we got Crenshaw in today. What's going on, man?
What's up, man?
How we doing?
Pretty good. How about
Good?
yourself?
Oh, doing fantastic, fantastic. We're
Hey,
excited.
hey.
We're excited to have you in. We're excited for another great show.
Yeah.
If you're watching us on YouTube, we appreciate it. Make sure you hit that subscribe button for you can get notifications whenever we go live. Yeah, I know it's the same time every week, but you still gotta know when we go live.
You gotta know.
You gotta know. Make sure you like us on Facebook, Instagram. If you want to call in and talk to any of us here today, make sure you hit that caller line. Phone number is 312-985-7834.
Ring, ring.
Again, that's 312-985-7834.
Ring. Postman.
Who this?
Who it?
I love that song. That's such a cool song.
I was just about to say.
Ring, ring. Post,
that.
man.
So how we feeling on this
Who it?
beautiful Thursday?
Who this? Man, besides my wet sock, I'm doing pretty. Doing pretty all right. This is one of those weird stages of winter weather where it's not cold enough for the snow to stay like there, and it rained a little bit today, so like everything's wet and melting.
Yeah.
So on my walk here from the CVS to this radio station, I stepped in a big puddle that I did not
No,
realize was a
dang.
puddle, and my right sock is soaking wet right now, like
Ah.
unbelievably. Not unbelievably, but like it's noticeably uncomfortable.
Yeah, yeah.
But like what? But what are you
Dust
gonna
is
do about it?
Chicago.
That's why I gotta get some serious boots. I can't be running around in sneakers in this kind of weather.
Bro, I learned that. I was in your shoes, literally. I remember, like, in high school, bro. I used to be reckless, G. Not even myself, just like all the homies, bro. Like, we used to be popping out middle of winter, bro. Like, 2-3 socks on, got the slides on, walking around like it's
What?
nothing, waiting for walking to the bus stop and stuff. I can remember that clearly, G. And I remember just like thinking to myself one day, like, what am I doing? What am I doing, bro? You feel me? And then it was just like I'd be walking around in something like Converse, bro.
Cop them Tims.
Yeah, exactly, man.
Bro,
I got my
exactly.
ACGs on right now, bro. I've had these since for like 5 years, since high school, bro.
Nah, you need some Timbs, man. You
Nah,
definitely need some
ACG
Timbs.
gang all the way, bro. We Nike gang
Oh,
over
man.
here.
I don't know, man.
These are durable, bro.
Forget the durability, okay?
You gonna go ball up in those after?
Hell yeah, bro. I'd be hooping in these definitely, bro. Best believe. But yeah, man, definitely. Did we catch that Pelicans game last night? Start us off right off, Mr. Zion.
I caught what I needed to see, which was the fourth quarter. The first 3 quarters were pretty much irrelevant. I mean, just another NBA game until the fourth quarter, and Zion did Zion things what everyone was expecting him to do, which was to go off. What he had, when I was watching, he had 17 points in a span of 3 minutes or something like that. 4 threes, but I'm not kidding you. Like, they were wide open threes.
They were disrespecting him, bro.
They
kinda
were.
were,
They
yeah.
were. They were kind of just like letting him like give that space. Eventually, like they kind of came up on him for like the fourth one.
I want to say
But he
how
still hit it.
Lonzo's stroke looked good.
Yeah, he's looking nice, bro.
Yeah, he's improving. I mean, the Pelicans are going to be a team. I think we spoke about this over the summer, but they're going to be a team to be watching for the next couple of years because Brandon Ingram's finally getting.
He's looking good. Don't they have a couple first rounders from the Lakers?
They have to from the
Probably,
Anthony Davis
yeah.
deal. They got it exactly. That's what puts them in such great shape with so much youth, so much great youth with them. They have like JJ's the veteran who still can score. Derek Favors is out there, another good veteran. Like I don't know, are they hovering around a playoff seat?
They're like the 10th.
They were around there
Yeah.
for a while.
Because right now you got Memphis in that 8th seed.
Mhm.
And then like the Pelicans are kind of hovering. The Portland's around there.
The Pelicans are actually 12th now, but they were
Damn.
they were right there a couple weeks ago.
Is that the Spurs in the A seed?
It is. It is the Spurs
Dang,
who
niggas be
who they
fancy on the
who they
Spurs,
beat
bro.
last night, or
Yeah.
who they lost to, however
Yeah.
you want to say that. But it was funny because like I was thinking this game, I was like, most of the time I feel like the Pelicans would win this game, but not against Greg Popovich. Like
Yeah,
not against him.
yeah.
He's like, oh, so what? He's like Zion, LeBron, doesn't matter who it is, we're gonna win this game. Like I don't care if it's this guy's debut or whatever. Like he was just ready to go after it.
True.
Yeah, so they're about 4 games back from a playoff spot,
Yeah.
which like the Western playoffs kind of have a cliff. Well, not really cliff. It's like, I mean, the Lakers are 5 games ahead of the Jazz for the first seed, and then it's like pretty close there, and then between the 7 and the 8's 5 games. Just like in the East, between the 6 and the 7, it's 7.5 games, which is ridiculous. How like that drop off happens
Watch
after
the
like
Thunder like
6 or
start making
7.
a decent little push, bro. Like watch them nail like the 6 or 7 seed, and then like I don't know, make it past the first round. Like I can just kind of see like just the way that it's been unfolding because everybody expected the Thunder to look like the Golden State does right now.
Yeah.
And just I mean, what is the record right now?
26-19.
26 and I mean that's
Above-
decent,
above
bro.
500.
Bro.
Won 3 in a row.
It's the power of CP3, bro. And it's just like I think when he went to Houston, we forgot like the true player he is, just from kind of being
He's
behind
a true
James
point
Harden.
guard. He's
Yeah.
a true point guard.
Yeah, and he's the one that's always gonna make his players around him better. And you know,
Absolutely.
in Houston, it was a little hard because you got Mr. Ballhog over here taking 37 shots a game, you know, and it's not gonna work, you know. And you see the Rockets now, and they're finessing games. They still got a good record, you know. They'll probably get to the second round, but James Harden alone is just so iffy, you know. And then you got another player like that. You got Russell Westbrook, and it's just like the talent is there. Like on paper, they look really good, and they can definitely contend for a championship. I have no doubt about it. But
It's like the same type of mental block that like keeps Kyrie Irving from like returning to that.
there's no returning, bro. 2 words for you: LeBron James. There was never any Kyrie Irving. It was LeBron James, and Kyrie Irving was gonna help out every once in a while, bro. Because I mean, look at that Cavaliers team before LeBron James came back, bro. They weren't doing diddly squat. You look at you look at the you look at the New Orleans when they were the Hornets, and you know when
Chris Paul
when,
played. For
yeah,
him.
when CP3 was a younger player and you know rookie sophomore.
David West.
Look at it. He's they had a good team. Don't get me wrong. Like they had good players around CP3, but without CP3, those teams aren't making the playoffs.
Yeah.
You know, because CP3 is just made that dynamic with him and Tyson Chandler, bro, where they went to what 7 games with the Spurs in the second round. I mean, as good of a player Tyson Chandler was, you know, he's just a big. You know, he's gonna get you rebounds. He was an aggressive center, but it was just those lobs. CP3 was just making him look good, bro. You know, without CP3, he's not gonna be on those highlights. So it just really depends on the point guard. And I look at somebody like Kyrie Irving, which I just get annoyed every time that I hear him speak, bro. You know, like
True.
and everything that he says is just like shout out Stephen A. Smith. It's blasphemous, bro.
Blasphemous.
Like, he be saying some blasphemous things, bro. And I'm like, I don't. This isn't entertaining. I'm just like, why are you saying these things, bro?
Speaking of Kyrie, did you hear the thing he said like recently about he's like the last time the Nets won a title they were led by Julius Irving.
It's blasphemous.
And he's
bro.
like now we have Kyrie Irving, so we're gonna win.
It's blasphemous.
I hate that guy.
I'm like, dude.
I hate that guy so much.
Like, who do you think you are, man? Like,
man. I remember when we first started the show, and I was still mad at that man. And I was like, I'd like him to stay, but I don't really care if he leaves.
Yeah.
And now I'm looking at it, and I'm like, I'm actually perfectly okay with him not being on my team.
Oh, that's right, because you have personal feelings about him.
Vendetta, sitting in 8th place at 18-25. Like gross. Like I know they're gonna be up there in the top 3. I know they're gonna be up there once they get Kevin Durant next year, but for now they're not going anywhere.
And it's like, okay, you're a good player and everything, but who are you to be calling out? You know who you see as the future and who you don't see as the future on your team. Who are you?
Calling
man?
out specific players.
Yeah.
He's like, we have these guys are good. Everyone else can just change.
Man. Like I don't care, bro. I don't care if LeBron. I don't care if Michael Jordan is saying that, bro. Like I'm still gonna ask that same question. Like, who do you think you are to be able to demean another man's position in a job, basically?
Right. Exactly.
You know? Like,
absolutely.
At the end of the day, whether you're enjoying playing basketball in the NBA or you're just doing it as a means to provide for your family or whatever, why are you jeopardizing that person's career? You know,
I feel like he's losing the enjoyment out of basketball too.
Oh yeah,
You know what I mean,
100%.
like it's
Yeah.
in part bitterness because like he just wants to be left alone with this superstardom fame that he's accumulated and just like play ball without like having any sort of, I don't know, fan opinion or critique about him. But I mean, he was tendered to be this way. So, you know what I mean? Like, I feel like he had an expectation of how things were supposed to go. You know what I mean? He was supposed to win the title, you know, with the GOAT, and then like kind of establish his own legacy. And I don't know, like it's just always been LeBron and Kyrie have always been distinctly different from a mentality standpoint, or at least not a mentality, because they're both competitors and they're both fierce and they both will get a bucket when you need it. But I'd say their attitude.
That's the biggest difference. Their attitudes, for sure. Because I think like the way they both play, I feel like LeBron. I mean, at this point it might be a little different, but LeBron's always been one to try to make people better or get more people involved, and it's like we win as a team, we lose as a team. He'll blame himself, like for sure, or he likes to blame everything, like, but he won't blame his teammates. Yeah, like he won't be like that guy lost us the game, or like we can't win with this guy on our team. He won't do that. He doesn't have that kind of attitude. That's
leadership.
Yeah, exactly.
We just need to rally late game.
That's why he was able to lead that Cavs team to a 3-1 comeback. Like he was the big majority. Where now you have Kyrie Irving, who
there are people who are aware of their presence. And it's a multi-tiered thing. There are people who have influence, who are aware of their influence and presence, and make decisions based on how others will perceive them. You know what I mean? Like LeBron James, for as like you feel like he's kind of a casual person. Is still a very calculated business. LeBron James is a business, you know what I mean? And like, I don't know. I feel like the foundations on whether it's managerial or like agent wise, like behind like who Kyrie surrounded himself with. This is kind of interesting. Just kind of jumping onto a rant about Kyrie Irving, but I don't know. It's just what I see. Those two distinct, different things. I mean, granted, LeBron James being just like the perennial superstar and the likes of which we'll probably not see in a long while, but I don't know. Yeah, just my 2 cents.
Yeah, no, I agree, bro. I just feel like, I don't know. There's something about Kyrie, bro, where I feel like there's kind of a cloud over his head, bro. You know, like he's not. Things are a little foggy with Kyrie. I feel like, bro. Like it's like, yeah, like you were saying, bro. Like there's the idea of who Kyrie thinks he is, and then there's the reality of who Kyrie is. And Kyrie is a fantastic basketball player. You know, he's
absolutely
top 15 if we want to be generous. You know, but for you to just have this continuous line of just blasphemy, you know, like it's just, it's strange to me, you know, and just the continuous things that he chooses to say and the timing behind everything that he says is just like.
Although he has been kind of quiet these past couple months. Like, I mean, when was the last time he suited up?
He was injured, but he's been back for a couple weeks, I believe.
Yeah,
if not the past week.
Right, but he was out for like a couple months.
Yeah.
He was like hasn't played since like November at one point or something like that.
It was like shoulder inflammation or something like that.
Yeah, I don't know. Who knows what it is?
I really think it is like a mental thing though, and like the like addressing just kind of mental health in the NBA in general. I feel like, you know, the statements by DeMar on Shop Talk show with LeBron and Kevin Love kind of, you know, making his. It was like an article that he wrote and released. I don't know. I feel like if he's gonna do any good for the situation, I feel like speaking out on behalf of like, you know, on like a mental health standpoint, to be an advocate for it instead of like making the situation about himself. Because we all know that like that Instagram post, like that long Instagram post that he put out there that like kind of described vaguely the way that he perceives things, and you know that you can tell that it's like purely a mental issue. And I think his is an interesting case for sure. I feel like he has like the perfect platform to be able to be a positive advocate for this type of discussion. You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
To be able to like, you know, like clearly I personally think he's taking time off on a majority chunk of like he just needs to straight stuff out on his mental, and I feel like that's an acceptable thing that players should be able to do. But right now it's being stigmatized negatively because of the way that he's deciding to portray it.
It's a great point. Very great point.
Because I want more discussion to be had about this topic for other players to be able to normalize. Because once other players start coming out and normalizing it, like society as a whole, you know what I mean? The more influencers come out and talk about like their humanness, you know what I mean, to help them become more relatable. We'll only do positive things for both the players and the fans, just the overall our communities in general.
Well, speaking on the topic, bro, what do y'all think about the Delonte West situation? Are you familiar with the Delonte West?
No, run that by me.
So basically, Delonte West is a former NBA player, and not even, I mean, he was in the league like 10 years ago. He was on the team with LeBron. Like, he was a good player overall, good point guard in the league. But basically, there was a video that surfaced online of him just looking very, very rough. You know?
There's another one of just like a day or two ago of him getting his ass beat.
Yeah, I seen it. Yeah, bro. And like there's multiple,
like in the middle of the highway. Like dude pulls out of his car to just beat Delonte West's ass in the middle of like traffic.
There's so there's that video, and then there's the video that like he's just kind of. It seems like that happened, to my understanding, the video that Justin's talking about, that happened prior to then there was another video of him basically on the curb, and he's just looking like defeated, bro, and he's just looking very raggedy, and it's sad, bro, and he just the things he can't get, like, he's just very slurry. He's like, oh, I'm the president, I'm President Trump, like that's what he was saying, bro, and it was just like, it was very sad, you know.
Are these videos like him after he left the league, or
yeah, this is like, so he left the league like 10 or so years ago.
after he left the league,
no, this is like recently, like within the past few days. Like these videos are within the past few days. He hasn't been in the league for about like 10 or so years. So, you know, going back,
speculating like something mentally.
Oh yeah, 100%.
It's just sparking discussion on just like conversations that need to be had in order to avoid situations like that.
Yeah.
Well, yeah. I mean, these players are almost like, you know, America. We kind of like, since we're such a melting pot, we don't know what is going to be the next all-star. And then when you do find it, it's like finding a diamond in the rough. Like, how many times have you guys like tried to meet up with somebody and then it's like, man, what's going on? I can't really catch a break. And then you actually find that right person, and then they're that shining light. So you get all this pressure to keep going for the fans, not only for themselves but for the competitive spirit. And then, you know, this is probably like back when players weren't really educated, like what to do with their money or anything. No influence.
Back when AI was still spending $100 million for nothing.
And then you're left with the bill. It's like, what? I was invited to the table, so I can definitely see that, you know, happening, because it's like you're up here, status. Even if you don't make the money, status. And then it's like, I used to play with my cousin too used to play with LeBron. So
and I feel like that's a good point in terms of I feel like the key word, bro, was status, and I feel like, you know, as for in this scenario, NBA players, we look at people like, you know, it's Delonte West, you know, he's you know, back then he's an NBA player, he's playing with LeBron, I want to be, you know, if he can, you know, why can't I, blah blah blah. You don't think of that aspect of like, you have no idea what's going on in his mind. We have no idea what's going on, what challenges, you know, he or Kyrie Irving, or what they're facing, whatever, you know. It's all subjective and it's all different, but, you know, kind of grasping everything that everyone said, like and it's like, I feel like in terms of sports, it's just a small sample size of the reality of reality, of human experience, exactly, of we're in this pool, we're in this melting pot of everyday life. We're here, you know, like we're all sitting here, but, you know, we leave this table, like every and anybody that watches Northside Plugged and say only knows us through Northside Plugged associates, you know, Dan, Justin, and myself as Northside Plugged radio guys. This is where we're here, you know, like, unless you really know us, or, you know, you're intrigued of what we're doing or whatever,
you'll never really know.
You're never gonna know what we're going through, what we're, you know. So that's the same thing with the NBA or in sports or just in general, is that we're all roaming around. We're all in this big cluster of life, dealing with all these emotions and situations that, you know, sometimes it just you know, it's just all there, and there's not enough discussions. There's not, I mean, bro, did I not? Oh yeah, I got it on. I've got this little, what is it called? The band, the Live Strong kind of band thing.
What would G-Money do?
It says, what would G-Money? No, but it says it's okay to not be okay. Have hope. You know, so it's, you got to
definitely relate to that one,
you know, like we're all dealing with stuff. We're all dealing with scenarios, and the problem, especially within this country. And I'm sorry for rambling, you know, but within this country, status is so quote unquote important, right?
It's like credit,
you know, and you think that, oh, just because I have all this status, it makes you better than the next person, or whether you have the money or not, like that status factor, I'm better than them. But that's not the truth. Like, we're all, like, sure, LeBron James is LeBron James, but I don't look at LeBron James on a pedestal like, oh my God, sure, he's an amazing basketball player, but if I were to see LeBron James right now, I would interact with him as I'm interacting with you guys. You know, it's like, sure, I'll be like, damn, like this is LeBron James, you know, but it's another person at the end of the day, you know. So that's my key thing of what I'm trying to say is that we're we're all humans, we're all people, we're all dealing with stuff, and we need to speak on it more.
Absolutely. And like in the mental health, like in the NBA, Kevin Love has been like a huge advocate for this for the past couple of years. Like he's been trying to like get out there and be like, hey, like we need to talk about mental health in sports because like the mind is one of the most is like as important as your body when it comes to playing sports, because if you're not there mentally, there's no way you can be able to perform at the level that you want to perform at.
So much stress.
Yeah, so much stress, so much going on, and like all the traveling, all the media, all the Twitter and Instagram and whatever else can get to a player's head, especially if like you come off a bad night, you look at Twitter and you just got thousands of people on Twitter just being like, "Yo, screw you," or you know, they say worse things.
You know what
they
I
say
mean?
worse
like,
things than that.
Like
but
you
like,
have to, like you don't have to engage. Like there are players who engage more than others, but like that following is gonna find you no matter what. You know what I mean? Like unless you pose into someone who's not that athlete. You know what I mean? Like it's. Everyone else is trying to live their life to prove that they are the opposite of who they are. You know what I mean? Including NBA players. Like they don't want to. They want to be seen for who they are, not for who everybody sees them as and only as. You know what I mean? And it's a common theme that we need to, that every person needs to address. You know what I mean? Just like everybody. You know, that's why it's so easy to see, like, I don't know, it's easy to see when people are like acting real, but like there's just like an easier gauge that kind of people can sense and go off when something genuine is happening. You know what I mean? Even if we don't realize it. You know what I mean? Like this, like you just like when you can feel all the work that went behind something. You know what I mean? When you can like truly feel the passion behind somebody's words. You know what I mean? Whether it's acting or not. You know what I mean? I don't know, just being able to identify substance in general. You know what I mean? Because I don't know, to pure like just substance in any form, you know what I mean? Like is a rare and beautiful thing. It's like despite all the common form that we have today, like I don't know, to just be able to like truly stand out because of who you are or just something that you do. I'm just speaking in vague terms right now, but
no, it's true. You know, you have to. I get what you're saying, bro. And I don't know, kind of to go back a little bit. Like I was thinking an example, just a random example of like a Jimmy Butler, right? So you look at Jimmy Butler, and before really the NBA, and even in his first couple seasons, you know, we in terms of the Bulls, like we didn't think his freshman or his rookie or sophomore season that he'd be the Jimmy Butler that we're seeing today, right? So in the shoes of Jimmy Butler, where you're a decent player, and obviously like Justin said, you're trying to prove the opposite of what everybody thinks you are at that moment, right? But once you reach that certain point of status, right? How does one handle in the terms of just being human, how does one handle that drastic of a jump, right? Whether it's you're all of a sudden, you know, you're just this random rapper, or not, I don't want to say a random rapper, but you're just this artist or whatever, you know, from Chicago or Pittsburgh or whatever, and then all of a sudden you get signed to Def Jam, and the next thing you know, you got, you know, a couple mil on you, you know, you got this advance, whatever. It's just like all of a sudden, like everything is in your hands. Like how do you process that? How do you handle all of that, you know? And then going back to like Delonte West, you know, he's put in a situation where he's got a lot of money. I don't know where he came from and everything, but you know, he wasn't able to sustain his fortune, you know? And it's just like I feel like there's, you know, it's all based off of circumstance, but at the same time it depends on the person, you know, and those kind of go hand in hand in the sense of like your ability to make choices at the end of the day, you know. And you got, in terms of NBA basketball, for example, like you've got players that, you know, some have the mental capacity to understand that, hey, I've got to save my bread. This is generational wealth. I got to save this for my kids, for my grandkids.
Yeah, but like how many people on the street how many people on the street even think like that?
Like what?
Like what you just said. where it's like, oh, you know, I ran into so much money, or I've saved up so much money, I should do this, that, and the third.
Yeah.
So it turns into generational wealth.
Yeah.
Like, that's not something.
Yeah.
That's not something that most people are brought up.
Yeah. Yeah. 100%.
General society.
Yeah. No, 100%. But regardless, like the aspect of having something, you know, if you can attain it, knowing how to maintain it. If that makes sense. But
well, just making a situation work for you.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, okay, I'm gonna use another analogy. You know what I mean? Between like Jimmy Butler and Kyrie. You know what I mean? Like, Kyrie put himself in a situation where he kind of forced himself into because he saw himself as one thing, and the system didn't work the way that he thought, because it was like the Celtics when they made their push without him. You know what I mean? When they've done their best, have they done as good since that point? You know, I mean, it was a system based off of like everybody might get their chance to shine, but we need to work together in order for that to happen. And Kyrie had that same concept, except it all had to work through Kyrie.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? Whereas
absolutely.
Where Jimmy Butler, you know what I mean? Like, it kind of was like that on Minnesota. Only like he was inheriting this, like, okay, this franchise that was kind of thrust forth by Kevin Garnett. Let's see what you can do with it. And he made his little playoff run. Got a lot of animosity for like trying to make a system just work in general. Maybe not even for him. Like there's button heads, but you see him in Miami and it's working now because like it's just a bunch of guys that all think like him. You know what I mean? They're just like, we're gonna let this run through Jimmy. You know what I mean? Because like just the way that he plays, like it's not too good at one thing, but just enough to be the glue for everything else. He's in a situation now that's worked for him because he hasn't wavered from who he is, and the system that's worked around him has taken that 100% into consideration. Whereas like, you know, the Celtics were still a building team. They had a lot of assets they could use, and sometimes others were more efficient other than Jimmy Butler. You know what I mean? Like right now, Jimmy Butler has Kendrick Nunn, who like the only reason he's even playing is because Dion Waiters decided to like go bunk on his entire career. You know what I mean? It's just like certain things like, and you know, the Heat might not even be what they are right now. It had those like slight minute things that not happened. You know what I mean? Just like, because right now they're a team that's built on like momentum. It's really not even skill. It's about chemistry and momentum. And I feel kind of the same way with like the Thunder, only like Chris Paul's just that skilled. Like he has the momentum because he is such a monumental player at such like a short height, you know what I mean, with the experience, all that, you know what I mean? He has that legacy. And Jimmy's like he has just like this legacy of just being good. You know what I mean? He's been borderline all-star, you know what I mean? Just like we see you, Jimmy. And now just two teams that I did not see coming out, you know, because those things had to take time to develop for those systems to just kind of, some was a little bit more, I see Jimmy being a little bit more calculated coming out of left field. Some things just kind of happen, you know what I mean? Like, I really don't think this Thunder team is, and I don't even know if it'll last, but like some things just kind of click and happen, and like it's a beautiful thing, like that Mavericks championship. It's just a beautiful thing that happened, and it couldn't have happened any other way had anything else happened. You know, trying to tie in the Nuggets with life and stuff, you know what I mean? Like every thing that's worth attaining, you know what I mean, is some middle ground between just like pure calculation and hard work and just like pure happening, you know what I mean? Just like life and God taking its course and just like allowing a nugget of just like cool, beautiful greatness to like to happen, whether it's a true success or just like fleeting, like all things. I don't know. How are you feeling right now, my man Crenshaw?
I'm still good, you know. Pretty cool. I just kind of sit back because I don't watch TV no more, so
that's not a bad thing. Jinx, show me a soda, Justin.
I almost cussed at you. Do you know?
Well, I'll cuss you
That
back.
wouldn't have
dude.
been good on
Cuss you back.
All right, one last sports thing before we move on. Just the NBA All-Star starters were announced today. So for all you that are unfamiliar with
I'm actually curious.
the new system, so the way that the new All-Star system, they're not going strictly off fan vote anymore. It's 50% of the fan vote, and then the other half is split between a player's vote and the media vote. So they base it off rankings. So basically, you take your player rankings worth half, and then the other two combine for the other half, and they add those up, and you divide that, and that gets you your weighted score. And then the highest ones are the ones who become starters. And then I don't know. I think the reserves just come down to the media afterwards. So of course you have LeBron James and Giannis are the captains for the Eastern and Western Conference yet again. I mean, pretty obvious players. Anthony Davis with his 7th selection, James Harden with his 8th, Kawhi Leonard for his 4th. Kawhi Leonard is the 7th player in NBA history to start All-Star games for 3 different franchises.
Yeah,
that's a cool little fact.
That is cool.
And then for his the youngest All-Star since 20-year-old LeBron James in 2005, Luka Doncic.
Luka Magic.
That's
Luka.
a stacked starting five, though. That's
But they're still doing the draft though, so that's not going to be their starters.
I would see. The thing is, I would have loved, and I'm gonna let you get to saying it, but I would love to see the Western squad play as a team. But they would just wallop this East squad.
They would kill the East. They would kill the East.
They would wallop.
Dude,
So the Eastern starters, Giannis Antetokounmpo was voted as your reigning MVP. Is your captain. Joel Embiid, Pascal Siakam, which I think is an awesome one.
That was dope. I was surprised, but that was dope. It's not. It makes sense.
Trae Young with his first All-Star selection.
That was a bold pick.
And Kemba Walker, my man, Kemba
I
Walker.
feel like it's just one or the other. You know what I mean? Like,
see, like why I said with like the weighted system, Trae Young had the most fan votes, so like that's gonna weigh heavy on his scale, and like the way it kind of tipped. Yeah, D Rose had the 4th most, but he only got like 7 and 6 for the player and media rankings, which kind of hurt his ranking. He did better than Zach LaVine basically only because of the fan vote. That's like literally the only reason why he finished above Zach LaVine in the weighted score statistics. If you want to look it up NBA.com. That's what I'm looking at right now. My boy Taco Fall still finished 10th in the weighted score, only because he was 6th place in the fan vote. And I can't believe the media actually gave him 7 because that's just ridiculous. But the players made him 21. I can't believe there people in the Eastern Conference actually there weren't 22 forwards that deserved it more than Taco. But shouts out Taco, I love you.
There's a player named Taco.
Taco Fall. He is 7'6".
Where is
Taco.
He is. Where's Taco Fall from? Taco Fall went to the University of Southern Florida. He's from Senegal.
Ay, Dios mío, my Taco Fall.
He is 24. He is 24 years old.
Damn.
He's the same year as me.
Mm-hmm. He's got an 8'4" wingspan. His shoe size is 22.
Damn.
I know Nike's making it killing.
Yeah, he's just a big boy.
Dude's not even really playing, but like he
No.
gets on the court like last 2 minutes of a game, 4th quarter, and people are getting off their fucking seats.
Yeah,
Excuse my language.
Yeah, I mean he hasn't been on the. He hasn't. How many games has he played? He's played 4 games for the Celtics. A total of 21 minutes over the span of 4 games. He has a 73. He has a 73%
Most
field goal
fan
percentage.
engagement during the game.
I mean, he's only really come in garbage time, and I mean when he comes in, the fans love it. I wanted him to come into that Lakers game so bad the other night, but he was stuck in Maine for the G League because he's in the G League affiliate now because like they want him to get reps, and I totally agree with that. So like so I'm excited to see the future of him. So with those All-Star starters, basically they're going to do the same things last year. LeBron and Giannis are going to do a draft of the starters and then the reserves. I think, like I said, the reserves are picked by the media, kind of base it off what the fans do, but they basically just kind of do whatever they want.
Yeah. Bro, like I feel like this season is such a great season to have that kind of draft. Because man, I would not want to as much as I love All-Star season or All-Star game and the All-Star weekend, that would be a tough watch. The East versus West would be a tough watch. The West would blow them out.
Absolutely. I mean,
Blow them out.
yeah, if you look at it, combined, the Eastern Conference starters have 14 All-Star games. LeBron's about to be in his 16th All-Star game.
And like
It's
that's
just ridiculous.
just the starting lineups, bro. You get to
Right.
the benches, and
Yeah,
the
you get
benches
to the benches.
the Western bench is still gonna blow the East out of the water.
The Western
bro.
backcourts, like
the bench could probably compete with the
starting lineup,
five.
yeah.
Exactly, like the Western backcourt, like who got left off: Damian Lillard, Russell Westbrook, Donovan Mitchell, Devin Booker, like Chris Paul's down there, like
Steph Curry.
Steph Curry because he got all the fan votes. Like I can't believe. Guys
man.
played.
Throw him in.
Guys played like 5 games. this
Ready or
year.
not.
Hey, wait, on the West for the front court or the back? No, front court. Yeah, who was on the front court?
West front court: LeBron, Anthony Davis, Kawhi. And then Jokic, Paul George, Melo
Melo.
somehow snuck up there.
See, I feel like Melo would go off in an All-Star game.
Oh,
just because of
absolutely.
the opportunity. It's like an Olympic. It's like
And if he's playing with LeBron, hell yeah.
I mean, Melo. I'm pretty sure he's won. Has he won a All-Star Game MVP? I'm looking. No, he hasn't.
I don't believe
He's
so.
been in enough of them though. But I mean, having him, then like he got voted about Brandon Ingram, Kristaps, Rudy Gobert, and Cat. So
Rudy.
So like I said, like I think the draft's gonna be in like 2 weeks, I believe, or maybe next week. They'll get LeBron and Giannis on the FaceTime again, and then they'll pick their teams.
You want to know what's crazy? How much I dropped off in caring about watching the Timberwolves since D Rose left the Timberwolves. I feel like there's a good majority of people who feel the same way. That like
Yeah.
only watch Tim's games because D Rose
Yeah.
played.
Bro, I was
It's the only reason I watch Pistons games.
Only reason why I even watched their highlights was because of D Rose, bro. I don't ever even think about the Pistons.
cold.
Yeah, I don't
These
ever even
jelly
think about
layups,
the Pistons or the I don't even remember the team, bro. The Wolves.
Timberwolves.
Yeah, man. I mean, at the end of the day, it's just as a Chicago Bulls fan and Chicago fan, it's great to see D Rose doing his thing, and just staying in the league, bro, and still playing at a decent level.
So there's a chance, like, because of how he's playing right now, and like the needs of the Pistons for a rebuild. Because as great as Andre Drummond is, like they're not going to build a winning franchise around him. And Derrick Rose is just right now he's just a great trade. Like his contract is great. He's a great trade piece. And so I love to entertain the thought of a D Rose reunion. And so I'd like to talk him in about like what that would mean just for the city. Like on a financial standpoint, man, like people would be shelling out right away.
Yeah.
Absolutely. I mean, they don't really need to sell tickets as it is, because like the Bulls still sell, even with their kind of rocky season, they still sell out most games. But he still puts butts in the seats no matter where he is. Like he's still Derrick Rose. He's still a former MVP. Like people love to watch that guy like just ball out and wherever.
I feel like it would just really jumpstart something for at least like some base in Chicago. You know what I mean? Like just to know that D Rose is back for like a season or two, bro. I don't know. I feel like I'd have like. I don't know, it'd be like some sort of pilot light, you know what I mean? Like I would have like I would start to feel a little versy just knowing that D Rose is in the city.
You want
Yeah.
that fan reunion, don't you?
Dude, I don't know, but I feel like a song would come out of it, a song or two for sure. If not for me, people would go off about it.
D Rose.
Absolutely. Well, I hope he gets voted back into the All-Star game. We'll see
Beating
what
a dead horse
we'll
here.
see what the writers decide as we come up to it. If you're betting on the NBA All-Star game, bet on the over. It's some team's gonna score 200 points this year. I guarantee it. They're getting so close. It was like 180 to 180 last year. Someone's gonna drop 200 points in this game, and
That would be dope, bro.
and I guarantee that.
What if somebody scored 100 points?
Like themselves,
Yeah.
that'd be
I'm
ridiculous.
just chucking threes
It's
all
gonna be
game long.
LeBron.
I mean, that's how
That's
these summer league games, like they were just chucking threes.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? You get the more because you see how they test it out. Like even Ben Simmons was testing the waters and
Yeah.
hitting threes. You know what I mean? Like when you see that enough times,
All three of them this season,
you
right?
see just the NBA
Two.
becoming more and more like you're either taking it to the rim or you're positioning for an open
Yeah,
three.
100%.
And teams are just going to find more efficient ways of just capitalizing on that 3-point shot.
Yeah.
And I was talking about this with my Uber driver on the way there. Like, you know, we'll be in a generation where
Uber. You think Uber, Justin?
it'll be commonplace to see like 140, 150 point games.
Yeah,
You know what I
yeah.
mean? Close games too. You know what I mean? Like, there are those teams that just like they're 3-point specialists, but there's gonna be a point in time where like it's a staple. Like, you have like all shooters will have to be able to shoot from any point or anywhere on the floor.
Yeah.
I wonder how the game in and of itself will evolve if they add a 4-point line.
I don't know about that, but like,
I'll tell you this much: those fan halftime shots never going in.
yeah, no, definitely not. But I don't. Yeah. Dang, I forgot my point. Yeah.
I don't know if they'll make a 4-point line because like it seems like guys are just moving further back and still hitting the shots. I feel like a 4-point play is just gonna make the game even more spread out than it already is.
Yeah, it's like do we as fans really want to watch players just like chucking up far threes basically?
I mean, when Steph was doing it, bro, it changed. It caused. We talk about this. It caused kids to do nothing but chuck threes on
Absolutely.
on
no
pickup
debate.
courts. You know, it's like, because, you know, I wonder if it's no, because we'll always have just like athletic people. I don't know. It's an interesting conversation, but like it's certainly evolving to a more surgically like sniper precise shooting. I mean, with the coupling of, you know, good defense and athleticism and just, you know,
There's literally a graphic of like a shot chart within Dan, you may have seen this, of the NBA within the past like 10 years or so, and it's like where the most like shots are being taken throughout the whole league, you know, and 10 or so years ago it was pretty scattered for the most part. You know, mid-range 3-pointers, everywhere. People were scoring anywhere. Now literally it's like all 3-pointers, and it was all like in the paint at the rim. Like,
I mean, what was
nothing,
MJ's bread
no
and butter?
mid-range.
I mean, it was the catch and shoot mid-range shot, which does not exist anymore. You know what I mean?
Which
like,
is stupid.
I mean, you got Kawhi who can do, but he's an anomaly. You know what I mean? Like,
coaches are literally like telling their players that the mid-range shot is defective, like it's useless, and I'm like, 2 points is 2 points.
Effective shot is what they're saying.
That's stupid. 2 points is 2 points.
But because these younger players have that notion, even if it's just like a small stigma, is what allows for players like Carmelo and D Rose to capitalize on being more efficient and smart with how they use that. Like, that's their main tool. You know what I mean? And they're still gonna play to their strengths. I don't know. I don't know. Beating a dead horse.
That's crazy. Yeah, look at that. That's, you guys can't see it, but it's like literally pretty much top of the key in terms of now. Pretty much top of the key threes, and you got threes on the
corners,
corners,
and then in the lane,
all in the paint. That's it. Like literally nothing. No mid-range shots. Nothing outside of the paint at all. That's wild.
I mean,
it's the way the game's going now.
Yeah.
Sounds like it's gonna be code calculated.
Yeah, it's.
Because think about all the shots that were made during that time, all the great plays.
I mean, that's half of those mid-range shots are probably Kobe.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking. I'm like, yo, Kobe's on the button.
Kobe and Dirk, yeah.
Kobe and Dirk, exactly.
Kobe's the left side. Dirk is the right side, baby.
Absolutely.
On the baseline is Shaq missing.
Yeah, that's all Shaq down there, bro.
He's missing.
You got Steph Curry in the corner on the elbows. But yeah, man. So the league's changing, but you know, players like Zion and Giannis and even like Joel Embiid, like they're gonna keep that notion of I can only shoot 3-pointers very humble, you know. And they were talking on ESPN. I don't even on ESPN. I forgot who was talking about it.
Playmaking.
They even said
really
like
good, you know what I mean?
but they were even saying like they're trying to define him as like a point center, and it's like it's just like he's his own mix. Like, to kind of wrap this whole up, it's like just a player like Zion alone, you could feel the difference within the Pelicans, and you felt the rest of the season. Yeah, you felt like they were a playoff
different
team.
Types of players emerging from like all the history of like how people have changed and capitalized on conveniences and certain advantages.
Yeah, seizing the time that you're in the league.
You know, before it used to be simple. You know what I mean? Like get a guy like Kareem Abdul-Jabbar or Wilt Chamberlain and overwhelm the paint.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Or find the best shooter alive or the most tenacious, athletic scorer. You know what I mean? And try and outscore your opponent. And now it's just like they want an
you need
all.
You have to do everything.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely. So the league is changing, but it's cool. It was cool seeing Zion in his first game and looking at it and being like, "Damn, this is the future." Like, you know, like the announcers are talking about all the like these new players. You know, it's like you got Giannis coming out and just like it's dope. It's dope. So it's a new decade of NBA basketball that we're looking forward to for sure. So. You guys got any final thoughts in terms of the sports world?
Go Ramblers.
Deportes!
Go Ramblers. First place in the Missouri Valley.
I just want the Bulls to make it to like the fucking. I mean, to like make it to the playoffs. Okay, just at least.
I'm waiting for.
They're sitting.
I'm waiting for their trade. I'm hoping for some move before the trade deadline, which would really be.
In guard packs, bro. No faith at all. I've learned, bro, to not have any expectations. And when a trade does happen, I'm always happily surprised. Even if we get somebody like Thaddeus Young or something, I'm like, yo, the Bulls made a trade. Hey, thank God.
They're still out there. Okay,
I remember when they traded for like Hakeem Warwick. I was like, yo, they made a trade. This is dope. He was decent for like 2 games. That was it, you know. So we'll see, But yeah, man, so we're going to take a quick little breather over here on Northside Plug, and then we'll be right back with this interview with Mr. Crenshaw to our left.
Yo.
Yeah, so we'll be right back here on Northside Plug. Stay tuned. Stick with us. YouTube, Q4 Radio.
beat from A9.
Hot beats, hot beats. Cop your hot beats.
For real though, if you need beats. Yeah. I have people hit me up that I don't know, be like, "Hey, I need you to remake this for me." It's just like, how do I know you again? Like, how do I know you, bro?
Can you remake this beat for me that you never made for me?
Who?
Like, this girl called me at work today. She's just like, "Hey, how you doing?" I was just like, "Who are you? Like, how do you have my number? When have I met you?"
Robocall.
"Oh, I'm a friend of so and so. I came in the other day, blah blah blah." And I was like, "Oh yeah, dude, I need to just stop doing small talk. I need to stop just like handing out my number to people and like actually take some stuff down."
Be careful, man.
I know, bro. I mean,
Stranger danger,
these
bro.
females will just be like, sometimes these females like make me lose my...
Hey, we got Crenshaw in the building, bro. Smacking on some chips. enjoy life, man. How you feeling,
Enjoying
bro?
some kettle cooked chips. Those are some bomb chips, though.
What kind you eating, bro?
I mean that jalapeno.
Jalapeno. And
Yeah, it goes like
spicy.
this.
Some ASMR brought to you by Northside Plug and Kettle Brand potato chips.
Get them while it's hot.
Get it while it's hot.
So what was the deciding factor in the jalapeno chips, bro? Out of all the decisions all the choices that you could have had in the what's it called, the vending machine, why'd you choose that?
Well, I had ran into it like a genie earlier today, and she was like, "You're gonna have to make a quick, fast decision.
a choice
A choice between the ultimate flavors of
a choice that might affect the
plain,
rest of your life,
right?
son. So choose wisely."
Choose what? That's So I just contemplated that and basically flipped the coin. So,
Really, it's
yeah.
just depicting the flavor of how the rest of your life is gonna go, man.
You don't understand, bro. Butterfly effect.
Undertones of
Okay.
some immediate and after immediate sense of burn and afterburn, but undertones of sweetness and saltiness. No, we're not salty in Northside.
They are kind of sweet. Actually, jalapenos like, the non-hot jalapenos are actually sweet.
Yeah. Habanero. What's your relationship with the jalapeno pepper?
Me?
T-Money.
I stay the hell away from.
Oh,
I love jalapenos.
I don't mind jalapenos.
Jalapenos.
The only relationship, the only relationship that I have with jalapenos, bro, is through my family.
It's that heat that I'm cooking up,
Mexicano.
son.
Yeah, the heat too. But
goodness.
no, one quick story that I have with so my cousin, who's like basically my age, bro. She lives in Texas. When she was a kid, bro, they I guess she would like chewing her fingernails or something, right?
Yeah.
So they put jalapenos all over her fingers, bro, to supposedly stop her from. But she Mexican, bro. Like we Mexican, so she just eating the mugs off of her fingers like nothing and just enjoying them, bro. So they're like, well, this didn't work out,
That's how they train their kids. Okay.
Yeah, we're interesting people, bro. That's I could tell you that. But yeah,
That's funny. What part of Texas though? He used to live in Texas.
They live kind of by Dallas. I don't know if you ever heard of like Tyler, Texas.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah,
exactly.
Yeah,
what I said.
yeah.
I used to work at like the Hertz at DFW.
Oh, okay.
I'm like, if you were from Tyler, like we talk shit about it. I mean, we talk mad mess about Tyler.
Why?
Because even the people from Tyler is like, yeah, it's cool if you want to live somewhere where nobody knows where you live, but other than that, don't go there.
The thing about Tyler, Texas, bro, is like it's a great place for like old people.
Yeah,
and like I don't want to say it's great for raising kids. It's because it's not. I would say, and I'm sorry, like if my family's listening, but it's just stagnant. It's a very stagnant area, and you're just kind of there. There's nothing really like when I go like. I go to spend time with my family. Like there's nothing really outside of like going out and doing stuff with them to really be doing over there, So your point is I would say it's a pretty valid point, but
I know. I used to live in Texas, bro.
Where'd you live?
I lived in Arlington, so I was
okay,
closer to like I was in what you would call the DFW area.
That's crazy.
Yeah, it's weird because like I lived there with my mom. Like my parents got divorced when I was like 5, so we just like moved to Texas First it was me, my sisters, my mom. I was like, what happened to Quinn? He was like, oh, you just kind of stay behind. I was like, what happened to Dad? He just kind of stayed behind. And then like my older sister went like after 1 month. Then my second oldest sister, but still older than me, she left like after like 3 months. She was like, I'm tired of this. I want to see my family again. Yeah. So then it was just like me and my mom like moving around Arlington like everywhere.
That's crazy.
So yeah, Texas kind of. I don't like Texas.
Yeah, Texas is an interesting place. What's your like perspective on it, bro?
It's great to get your money.
True.
That surprisingly, my first apartment was in Texas.
True.
Like my parents got like pushed that off on me. It was like, you kind of want to get out the house. I'm like, no, not really. What if we help you get an apartment? Okay, now we're talking numbers. Yes, yes. But no, it's cool to get your like money up, but past that, like if you don't have a car, don't trust transit. Like I used to literally be 7 minutes away from my job.
Damn.
I would not trust the bus.
You just may as well walk.
Bro. Bro, I contemplated that from time to time. Thank God for Uber. If not,
True. Yeah.
Screwed.
Yeah, I feel it. It's just like my perspective of Texas was always, at least I've been in, like, I mean Tyler's where they are, but like I've been everywhere in Texas. Like I've been every city, every major city except for El Paso.
They say there's nothing there.
Yeah, I don't know, but like I've enjoyed my time. I didn't really like Houston, to be honest. It was cool, but I didn't really take anything away from Houston. But just like, I don't know, bro. Like it's similar to here, I would say. Like, it's similar but different. You know, like when
and its elements, yeah.
Like, yeah, no, like obviously it's different, you know, but like from past or different places that I've been, like it's whenever I go there, and I think it's just I've been there a good amount of times where I'm comfortable there, but I don't know. I just feel like, and maybe it just because it's like kind of linear in terms of like it's still Central Time and everything, you know, like I don't know, like when I go there as opposed to like, for example, I went to California one time to visit my other family, like I felt very different in Cali than I did in Texas. Like I still kind of felt like a Chicago-ish vibe, but that's just me. I don't know.
I think it's that hustle and bustle still going, that feel, because like, I mean, it's the South, so it's like it's very not slow like in bad, but like.
Do you ever feel like the whole, like your demographic is like asleep? I feel like the thing about Chicago for me is like, at any given point, like the city generally is just like not asleep. You know what I mean? Like there are dead hours, but like I can always count on like just like something happening. You know what I mean? Like where I feel like there's, I've been to Texas once, and it's like it's kind of like I've been to Arizona far more times, but like I get that sense just like, man, I'm out here. You know what I mean? Like a man on the moon type of feel. You know what I mean? Like I don't get that in Chicago one bit. You know what I mean? Maybe like on a mental state, like I know if you frame it that way, but like to just truly just like be out here, just be like, I don't know. I think it might even be like a star type of deal for me, like because I'm in the South, you can see the sky. You know
100%.
City skylights, like all that.
Fire now.
You know what I mean? The appeals in the artificial light.
Yeah, it's so contained here. You know, just in terms of environment. And
every space is shared.
Yeah, exactly, and it can be tiring, bro. And that's why I love going to Texas, and I mean, I just love being around my family, but just being in that space of just being able to, especially when it's warmer outside, being able to sit outside, and like when I sit outside here. Like you just hear sirens, and cars, and just everything. You know, over there it's just like.
I bet weed smokes a lot less anxiously out there.
No, it's worse.
Yes and no.
I'm not talking about Texas. I'm just talking about like, I guess like out west in general. I guess.
Oh, I don't know.
Like
I'm all the way over east.
Yeah, I feel like I like chiefing over there, but at the same time, it's like, it's like, in terms of legality, you got to be a little more low key, because it's like, it's Texas, and they're just strict, bro. They're just they're strict on their stuff.
Yeah,
you know, it's like they're not. at least in that sense, they're not as open-minded as we are at this point in Chicago.
Absolutely not.
You
It's
know?
Texas.
Exactly. Exactly. But yeah, man. So, okay, I got a question for you, bro. Like, what, being from Texas, because I can probably kind of relate
Well,
to
I'm
you,
actually
like,
from Chicago.
or no, I didn't mean like that. I meant like having so much tenure in Texas. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
How has that like affected you being here in Chicago, like just as you as a character, and then gone like within your music career, if you want to kind of like jump into that, you know?
I've always had a love for music, so I don't think Texas definitely influenced you, cause remember like the times when like Lil Jon was like really coming out, like that Southern sound, like that stayed there. Like it would be big for like a Louisiana artist to like get play in Texas, like Texas, and that was before like Atlanta was like as big as it was now.
Yeah.
Like Texas, like you got spun on Texas, like it was like what? And people like go hard for their rappers. Just the city doesn't always let that scene being shown, because once again it's kind of like Texas, like
100%. Yeah.
they don't really want that. They want them like, oh, the good times and everything, good marriage. So living, because I was just like a kid when I left Chicago, so like growing up in Texas, it was a lot. Well, kind of like growing up as an only child, it was a lot more difficult. I had to adapt quicker.
Yeah.
So like I wasn't always able to get into the music that I always wanted to, and then I kind of like stayed in that 808 sound. Like I'm a big hip hop head. Like I just love it, just throwing on that 808 and just doom. So I kind of take that into my music, where it's like I love starting off like doing like a nice little and then like heavy strumming and heavy feels on that. And then like one thing I definitely take away from Chicago is like some of that blues feel. Like I really love playing in that minor key.
Especially with the bass. That's really where you get a lot of that blues,
man. Dude,
that rhythm, that soul.
Dude, I was just like, earlier today I was just jamming out with my band, and we have this song called Voodoo that I'm like really happy to like record and push that out, because like I'm not gonna lie, the bass line is smacking. It's smacking, bro. It's like nothing else, man. So I just kind of like take that going on right there, because there's a part where I kind of like you call it going down. You would call it going down in like music terms. And I hit that minor key and I just hit it right nice. You got the splash from the drums going in, the kicks, like really hitting me nice, and then the guitar coming off a sweet solo with the lyricist like giving you some like nice words to really think about. So I kind of like incorporate that into my style. But
that's dope.
As far as like living wise, it's more open. It's a lot more in your face, especially if they don't like you. Like they'll let it be known. And like you got a whole crew that don't like you. So it's whatever. But it's not as hostile like as Chicago could be. Like Chicago is like, yo, you want to go left? All right, let's go left. Yeah. So it's a lot more calmer, but it's not as fun. It's like, and I drove. I used to like, once I had my car in Texas, like I was driving everywhere. Like you couldn't tell me nothing. I even drove down like to what's that, Austin.
True.
That was a nice little drive.
That's a decent one. What, like 5 hours or so, right?
Nah.
From Arlington.
At that time I was living on my own with my apartment in Irving, so I actually remember the exact time. 3 hours and 27 minutes. I wish it was 3 minutes.
Hell yeah.
Lightning speed.
Bro, we'd be driving to San Antonio, man. Them drives are long.
See that I couldn't do that. I would have to have a layover trip, because I've been traveling like I've been moving ever since I was a baby, apparently, and I've been traveling on my own since I was like 13. Like I've been paying for my own flights and everything like that. And then I've been traveling since I was a little kid, so it's like it's nothing for me to like. That's what I mean, like being able to adapt. Because like
definitely,
it kind of like intrigued me to be a better bass player. Like I know like ways to play. You call it modes, but you're basically, in layman's terms, like staying in the same key, then you're just putting like a different flavor or feel, like a different fingering.
Yeah.
So in case you are gonna change a different key, your finger's already in position. So it's like, man, he knows what he's doing. It's like, yeah.
Yeah.
So that's
What are some of your influences as a bassist?
Really, just right now, everything that's kind of hitting me right now. I have to say, like the Isley brothers, they definitely play a role. Shout out to the Isleys, all the remaining and the ones rest in peace. Isleys, you wouldn't really believe it, but like, what is it? Dang, from Detroit. Dang, I can't even think. Motown.
Oh yeah.
Like Motown Records, like they're a big part. I was actually at the museum. And James Jamerson, he's like a famous bass player. Like you guys should definitely look him up. He influenced a lot of people, and so I like took a couple of techniques from him because he plays in like the blues and jazz. Like it's pretty much universal. So you can work that, you can work anything. And this dude would play like sick bass lines, like 16 notes and patterns, and like take it to church and then put a jazz lick on it. And then he like one of the secrets is like playing on the open strings. So he might do a build up A, B, C, and then hit the open D string and then carry right back onto the E on the open A string. So it's just like ways to like tweak the sound. Like, like it's gonna, no matter what you do, if you still play D, it's like, all right, you played the note, you know, people are still jamming to it, but like there's different feels on the different strings and then different frets, and then for different songs with different instrumentations as well, or even the room, you might want to just like switch up your patterns and everything. So that's kind of like the big influences as far as bass players. But other than that, it's like hip hop and R&B. It's like I'm just like really big time hip hop head.
Did you like teach yourself how to play bass, or did you have like people around you? Do you have mentors?
Shoot, school. Like I've always had an interest in music. Like I would share the radio with my siblings, like a 5-year-old learning how to share. So I guess that was like a good thing. But no, I always thought playing an instrument was like cool. Like man, it'd just be cool to know how to play an instrument. So 5th grade came around, played the recorder, stuck to it. Tuba chose me. I really didn't even want the tuba, man. I wanted to play the drums, bro.
True.
I wanted to play the drums, but I was like such a people's person. And one of my friends, he was like sad, so I was like, oh, I'll change it over to trombone.
I used to play trombone, same thing, like 5th, 6th grade.
Bro. That was like one of the worst decisions ever. Because I was like, I don't get to do what I want to do. I really wanted to play the drums, man. Like I didn't really want to do the guitar. I thought playing guitar was cool. But I didn't. So tuba chose me.
That's dope though.
But the good thing about it is that it's in the bass key. It's like all the notes that I know now, like you just give me the sheet music. It's nothing. It's already a language to me. So
that music theory, like just having that early what's it called, introduction to being able to play an instrument really helps you like down the line at this point, you know, when you're starting to really realize, hey, this is what I'm trying to do. You look back and you're like, damn, like having those experiences you may have not realized, like you may have just taken them for granted, just kind of doing it in the at least for myself, you know, kind of in the motions, but then you look back, you're like, damn, that was dope. And I understand what I'm doing now even more because I was doing what I was doing back then, right?
What is it? Hip hop. Quote Lil Wayne, man. Hey. Like one of his favorite, I think one of his favorite lines to say is, "You never know what you stop doing till you stop doing it." What is it? Call me Clue because I do this. Oh yeah, that was off of Nightmares at the Bottom, Carter 4. Yo, that album was crazy, man.
People slept on that album, bro. That's one of my favorite albums. Because he dropped the Carter 3, and he was at the top of his game, and then I don't know, bro. I feel like people were expecting it to be the Carter 3 too, you know?
Yeah, but you can't do that with an album. And if you do, then you get called out for not making the same. You made the same album. I bought it twice.
Yeah, exactly.
Like, what?
No, I agree with you. I think it's To be honest, I think it may be my favorite Carter. As much as I love the Carter 3 and the Carter 2, I really do love the Carter 4.
I think the Carter 4 is the more personal one.
Yeah.
Instead of like, maybe Warner didn't play such a big role. Because I forgot what side mostly had, whatever, they're the same. Whatever.
Mm-hmm.
I'm just say Warner didn't really play such a big role in the Carter 4
Yeah.
as
true.
they did in the 3. Because think about it, Wayne was like really popping. He was like being pushed. Like, it was hard.
He was hip hop, bro. During
Hard.
the Carter 3, he
Yeah.
was hip hop.
Absolutely.
You know?
We have a Wayne era. We have Wayne copies.
Yeah.
You know? So,
Yeah. 100%.
yeah, but just to take it back to what you were saying, yeah, man, like I hear notes in my head. It's like
Mhm.
I'll like play with my band a little bit, and then I'll be like, nah, I should take it up, and then find the notes that I really need, and be like, oh, ooh, and get like the okay from the drummer, like, yeah, keep doing that. So yeah, man, yeah. If you stop, it's the worst thing to do. But once you get back on that horse,
Sometimes you need to stop though, just so you
Yeah.
can take a step back and be like, all right, like I missed this the right way, instead of like mixed in with a bunch of other feelings that you won't be able to process or
Yeah.
decipher in the time that'll take you to, I don't know. By the time you have it all disassembled, there's no point in trying to do the original thing anyway.
Mhm.
So I don't know, being able to take a step away is, you know, is something that everybody needs to do from everything. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Unless you hoisting up some lofty dreams, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
I'm going to the moon, I'm gonna be the greatest of all time, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And people wear that cape, you know what I mean? Whether people believe it or not, you know what I mean? It's you know, those types of heights and those slopes are really, you know, it's a huge weight, you know what I mean? And a lot of people, as much as they'd like to say and think that they're willing to take the challenge, like no, but very few people are ready for that type of work,
Yeah. 100%.
because your life becomes the dedication. There's no wiggle room whatsoever. And then, you know what I mean, like when your whole life becomes the dedication, any falter from that is just like a walking hypocrisy.
Yeah.
Dude.
Yeah.
you start not liking yourself,
Yeah. Yeah.
and then you start not liking the world,
Mhm.
and then you draw, and then you just like you lose so much.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's like, you do got to take a step back, but you can't like just straight fall out the sky neither.
Yeah, yeah.
Like you kind of just gotta like leave certain things alone.
Yeah.
I mean, you only doing that if you're uprooted and you're like, man, I need a step. Like for me, right? I'm going to California for a couple days. There's a big
Shout
difference
out
to be
to
like,
Cali.
I'm moving to Arizona. I'm taking everything with me. You know
Yeah.
what I mean? It's an opportunity to defrag.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Just like place yourself in a different environment for a little bit.
What part of Cali you going to?
It's like 15 minutes south of LA. I don't even know
Oh.
where our
You're still
Our
gonna be in
hotels.
traffic.
yeah. Ubers are cheaper out there.
They're not. No, they sit in this. Bro, I'm gonna tell you. I landed in LAX. I had my aunt who lives out there for like 5 years straight or something like that. Whatever, dude. I literally looked on the map. I'm like, okay, about an hour and a half drive. I can definitely do that. Some family time on the road.
3.5 hours.
3.5 hours. You
Yeah.
called it. You get, dude. I just want to pray for you, because like whatever you do, take the bus if you can.
I'll take. Is there a train out there?
They have a train ish, but it's
Trolley?
Yeah, probably like a trolley.
Trolley.
Probably a trolley.
The Cali trolley.
But just like LA traffic is apparently like one of the worst in the world. Like it's
they
up
will
there.
try to run you over as soon as the light turns green.
Damn.
Like they're ready to
No patience.
go.
No patience. You
So-
better.
That's how it is out there. It's so fast paced in Los Angeles. It's ridiculous.
That's fine. I only need the sample size of it, just enough to like recognize like, oh, if I was here for any longer, I'd probably get overwhelmed. That's why I'm going back to Chicago, where I can be moderately overwhelmed all the time.
Ah.
just figure this one side and be good.
Right. Like I'll just
Absolutely.
hibernate until the summertime, and then like, you know, then I'll bob and weave through all the violence when everybody's out and dying.
All right. Well,
Everybody
Just,
dies in the summertime.
the segment.
So I got a question. So we have a lot of like hip hop artists on here, right? And they talk about collaborating with other producers or other rappers and things like that. For you as a bassist, you're literally your band, like you collaborate with other people all the time, like that's how you operate.
Yeah.
Do you think it's any different from the way that hip hop kind of collaborates, or do you think it's like very similar in the way that like it's sure like it's different music and like all music's good, like all music's music.
Well,
and,
that
like,
was the staple, like the only way that you're going to make really a hip hop track was if you were taking derivatives of like the fundamental of what he's doing right now.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like just because things are so modernized now, like something like an acoustic setup, you know what I mean, is seen as like a derivative from the modern, which is like, no, that's the foundation from which all this is laid upon anyways. Like all the best music that we hear is from like flipped samples of live music that was played 10, 20, 30, 40 years ago and then some. So like the whole core what if anything I would go as far as to say like that core foundation of collaboration is what's missing. You know what I mean? Like everybody needs a foundation like yours or in some aspect, you know what I mean? Just like a foundation of chemistry, you know what I mean? How to recognize it, how to operate within it, and how to grow as, you know, as a unit, you know what I mean? And I feel like the artistic realm in terms of like modern production is
it's kind of here and now.
It's here now, but it's kind of isolated too. You know what I mean?
Isolated.
Because of just the accessibility to the tools and like the willingness of like of people to just show face anywhere. You know what I mean? Because the legitimacy of like of movement of like you pushing a single or an album, like unless you have like a video behind it, just like a core bit of content, you know, doing live shows, you know what I mean? Like people, like getting someone to attend a live show is like a thing, you know what I mean?
Dude.
Before it was like the only way you could truly consume the real music, you know, just a flip-flop of the culture and how like we're trying to consolidate those things. Because before, what we have now, what was so far out of reach is what everybody was trying to go towards. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And now we're trying to. I feel like there's this need to polish the things that kind of set the way for the rest of what we're doing musically.
Yeah, no, it's because I started off serious, more so taking myself serious past just school when I was like 16. Like I gave like, he's now pretty famous in his New Era. I gave him like a beat because I attended like this little thing in my school. So as far as like producer, it's like super easy for a producer to like not even really have to be in the room if you're talking about today's modern times. But like starting out, like it was like, oh yeah, man, yeah. Like meetup days was still important. And meetup days was still important. Now it's just like, all right, send me the beat, send me yours. All right, here's that. Whereas first it was like kind of like more organic starting out, and then being a bass player, it's easier for me because then it's like I don't have to carry as much equipment.
Yeah.
If you guys are just, I mean, if I could just plug in right here, right now, level me out.
Right.
Hey, we're popping, we're going. You know, what is an amp other than for the shows?
Yeah.
And then going back to what you were saying in the beginning, like think about all the greats. They all know how to play an instrument. And then all the really the winners of Grammys and awards and that high status, they know how to either manipulate the sound or they know how to play multiple instruments and then get those sounds and recreate it. And then Kanye West with samples, even still today, like to take the sample, like the one way to one way my teachers taught me how to avoid paying sample fees was like take the record, put your own lick on it, even if it's the exact same thing, like that's you. You're the author of that new lick over that sample at that BPM rate and everything, this, that, and third. And then, especially if it's mix and master, then it's like, oh yeah, it's definitely a new sound. All I really did was just create a beat so that I can get $100 back. So
yeah, no, it's true. Yeah, I feel you, bro.
So it's
about the taste, you know what I mean? Like
it
the ear,
is.
you know what I mean? Because like so many times less is more.
Yeah.
And it just comes down to like just the accumulation of the subtleties. You know what I mean? Like the attention to the ability to be able to perform those subtleties like in real time.
It's magical, man.
Yeah.
It's magical, especially when you get a song that you really love. It's like, dude, and you get to perform that in front of people. It's like, that's where you kind of get like, as a musician, like your authenticity. It's like everybody picks up an instrument.
You can hear the time spent put into like your rendition of whatever you're playing, whether it's yours or a, you know, a cover. Yeah. You know, I was like, we've been talking. A common topic has been like being able to just like hear the work that's been put into it. You know what I mean? Just like through those subtleties, you know what I mean? Like I like a small decision that I can hear. It's like I know someone spent an entire day learning how to just like intrinsically just go towards that technique and do this or that. Whether it's like like I can hear engineering decisions and I can hear, you know, instrument like the skill in an instrumentalist by just like the way that you describe the like a slight difference between like going up or down, the way you hit a certain fret, you know what I mean? Coming down from a lick, going up into something else, transitions, you know what I mean? There's just being able to layer the multi-dimensional aspects of, you know, something that sounds easy, like the shot that makes, you know, that Steph Curry makes look so easy. You know what I mean? I said this last week, and it pertains to writing. A quote that pertains to writing: "The easiest reading is damn hard writing." And it's I feel the same goes for writing music and all things that we create.
I'm feeling that now. I think about it, I was like, what? Sounds like chicken scratch. But no, I can see it now. Well, I mean, I could drop a secret if y'all want me to do
Hell
that.
yeah.
Always.
Okay.
Always ready.
So, one way to just to be considered good is to put in 10,000 hours.
True.
Like Stephen King, like the books are phenomenal. We have movies after him. Who's a good director?
Tarantino.
Tarantino's pretty nice. Tarantino has to put in like hours. I don't even think he went to film school.
I don't think he did, but I don't know.
So like that, and then you know, your favorite artist who's able to sell out a mega arenas. I'm gonna say that Beyonce, Jay-Z, Gym Class Heroes. Take it back to the old school, the Ink Spots. Like that's another. Man, they're beautiful. I found them through Fallout, but you got to put in like 10,000 hours just to be good. Stephen Curry, 10,000 hours, and it shows.
To have the confidence, you know what I mean, to step to the table.
Dude, you got to do that. But most of all, you can't be scared to claim what you are and then being shown and spotted on the moment, because it will happen. Life is gonna test you that way. It always does, because it's like, all right, you profess you're this. Are you really? Or okay, you have this, but have you been keeping up with the discipline? Because you know some people was like, man, they were really great. What happened? They took that step forward and they fell out the sky.
Damn.
Instead of just being like, okay, not this right now. Let me put my energy into this. So yeah, you gotta not only do what you say you are, but you gotta really be dedicated to it. So that's what that is.
It's a true discipline. It's just dedication, development of discipline. Honestly, and the reevaluation of like what you consider like true discipline. You know what I mean?
how do you apply that knowledge or everything that you just said to yourself within your music and with within music and outside of it, whatever you feel most comfortable answering that question?
I have to take it to the metaphysical on that one. Shoot. So I just got a job, like, and I know a musician getting a job is in the world.
We all got him.
No,
Speak for yourself, brother.
I just got it.
I was about to curse you out just again.
That's why they call him G Money.
Okay.
He finds it through many wings. I just got a job. What was it? This Tuesday. So it's part time, and what it allows me to do is I have more money coming in because I was going through some financial stuff and everything, some depression and stuff, bro.
I feel you, bro.
So I just got a job, and then I have another one, side gig, Saturday, Fridays. That's about like a paycheck within 6 hours. Most of the time, I'm just sitting on my ass, bro.
Mm-hmm.
Like I'm not doing nothing. But people are tipping me, so it's like I work at a bar.
That's decent.
You just really gotta find balance. Before that, I used to wake up like 7:30 on the dot. Be like, yo, don't hit that snooze button. Don't be like, alarm off. Let me lay a little bit. No. Get up right now. Take a shower. Go eat. Cook your breakfast. Make sure you got through everything. Is your hair looking nice? Is my face washed? Bam. All right, what I gotta do today? Is today Wednesday? Is today family days? Like, who am I gonna hang out with? What are we gonna do? What are we gonna talk about? What do I need to fix my car? Do I need to clean up my room? Like, you have to keep to a schedule. You really have to adhere to it. Yeah. Just like how you guys adhere to this schedule right now. Like, I know the fans are loving it. They're loving it. I'm pretty sure somebody's gonna walk up to you and be like, man, you guys like help me out. Like I didn't know what, and then you brought that person on. Yeah, I got inspiration from that.
That's dope. Appreciate you, bro.
You gotta, definitely. Shout out to you guys. You gotta stay to a schedule, because idle time is the devil's playground.
I feel that. I definitely feel that, bro.
I like that. I really like that.
Yeah. I've been lately when I've been going to work, because like I'm a specific. I have my position is kind of unique to what I do at my job, and because of that, I'm the only person who's able to facilitate certain events at my job, where I'll have to be there at like 6:30 in the morning before anybody, for the cooks, for the managers, because I'm the only one who will make sure that all that stuff's done, ready to go by the time my first higher up comes in and inspects it. So I'll be there from like 6:30 in the morning to like 7 at night, and I'll just have, and it's just an all-day conference. I'll make sure that everybody's got what they got going, but there's just hella idle time. It's like before, it's like, lately I've just been bringing my laptop, bro. Jake will be there, and I'll just be like, hey, I got a melody, go throw something down. And like in between checking on my peoples, I'll just go by and there'll just be a little something extra, just something like just something to redirect where my mind was originally deviated from, because that's the big thing for the artist, is like deviating from the minds in any way, shape, or form. So like being at a bar, it's like at least I'm being personable enough to be able to like work on my communicative skills. I'm not just what I mean. At least I'm talking to people and not just in the studio all day. But I know that feeling of just like, man, like I'm not doing anything that has to do with what I really want to do right now. And like,
you're not doing
sometimes it takes a whole year of just sitting around being like, what am I gonna just start doing something different, bro, before it just starts working. You know what I mean? Like a lot of things that worked for me just kind of like started happening as such, because I was doing a myriad of other things that just kind of allowed me to be able to do that in the moment. You know what I mean? Just like the ability for him to just walk in my place and like, we'll have a track done in a couple hours. The track that I'm just like, damn, like this is
sauce.
This is ready to go right now. You know what I mean? Like, can't play just like all the time that you wish you had the motivation, energy to do that in that moment. That put you in the position to just do it in the moment that you did, allowed you to accomplish something that you probably weren't expecting. You know what I mean? It's which kind of goes back to my point earlier with the whole sports thing between like, as calculated as you can be as calculated as you ever want to be, but like there's just that gray area that just life is just gonna like allow certain fleeting beautiful things, and maybe they're not even completely fleeting, you know what I mean, but just like I don't know, it a certain natural progression of things just kind of will always unfold, you know what I mean, whether it's I don't know, for the better or worse.
Yeah.
It's there's peaks and troughs to it.
Oh yeah. Life is a roller coaster. I'm definitely learning that.
So in the musically, bro, what you working on, man? Working on any projects or anything?
Not really heavy, right? Well, actually, yeah, I kind of actually am. I don't know. I always say I'm not, but I always am. Yeah, I'm working on, of course, me and my band, we're making a sound. We're probably gonna be in the studio next time we meet up because it was just such a tight practice. I mean, like we're pretty much professional, so really can't wait to drop some of that. Then I got another thing coming up. Valentine's Day will be a show. I got invited out to be a special guest, and apparently it's gonna be about mostly the band. Just the singers are there, give us some play material.
Dope.
So that's something that's coming up. But as far as recording, nothing really right now. It's like I'm coming just a little bit out of depression right now. So it's just like I'm getting back to that schedule. I'm getting back to those habits and everything like that. So I haven't found anything. It's like, man, I'm gonna record that, or man, I'm gonna bring this to the band, and then we record that.
Yeah.
But kind of turned off. Truthfully, kind of turned off to like collaborating with other people because it's just. Oh my god, the last minute excuses, bro. They kill me.
Yeah, I feel you.
They literally kill me. And they'll be the ones asking me to help them. Just last minute.
Yeah, it's best to I don't know, bro. Like, I feel like personally, bro. Like, I always want to help, and I think I've said it before on the show. Like, I want to help the next person around me, but you got to know that fine line between. When is the time where I gotta take myself first and make sure that I'm straight, right?
Yeah.
And if I know that, for example, musically, if things aren't working out, or I can kind of expect or get the sense that the person that I'm supposed to be collaborating with just things ain't clicking, it might throw you off of what you're doing, and it's just like, I don't know, bro. I feel you on that, I was gonna ask you how do you mentioned depression, bro? How do you kind of get yourself out of that? How does that play into yourself with music and everything? I know it's a very general question, but
no. Definitely. So it was like a slew of things that would happen. Like every week was a different punch. Like it'd be something financial, and then it'll be like family members like doing whatever the heck they do. And my car broke down, and then like my email got hacked, and my bank account like got hacked like twice. I had to order like 2 different new cards, bro. I mean, I got all the money back.
Yeah.
FDIC insured. Thank you, Chase. Brought to you by.
No free ads, Chase.
Pay up now.
There ain't any extra money in this bank account. We ain't putting it in yours.
No. But no, I wish, man. That's what I was just wishing for. Like, man. And the funny thing was, like, they used like a crappy VPN, and like I literally saw like the text messages, the videos, the pictures, and it wasn't too much of them. Like I really couldn't go off of it. It was like, man, it's like a mockery in your face.
Yeah.
So it's like slapping you in your face right there, and you still trying to like do what you can. And then my job at the bar, the money was slowing down. So it was like, sometimes I'll like skip a meal, bro. Skip a meal and just be like, save $1.
Yeah.
Like hurting the mess out of myself.
Yeah. I had canned tuna and saltine crackers for dinner today. Like, I feel you, bro.
I've been there as a kid, bro. It was just like, yo, this is it.
I don't know. It's like I remember like the first time I was just like, man, I feel reduced. But it's just like, man, like I knew exactly what the F I was getting myself into.
Yeah.
Doing this, like I'm living it right now, and like I don't know. There's like a small sucker to it. You know what I mean? Like a small like I don't know. I don't want to say like take pride in it, but like this all of it is my decision, and like
you got to find the beauty in the struggle. As
Yeah.
they say, you know, like
like I'll eat canned tuna and saltine crackers again. I don't care.
Yeah.
It
I was
ain't
actually,
bad.
talking with Jake S a couple days ago. Shout out Suburb, who's been on the show before, and we were just saying like, yeah, man, like you know, if we're lucky enough to, if and when, you know, lucky enough to get to that certain point that at least between Justin and I and musically have kind of directed ourselves towards, you know, and like getting to them interviews and stuff and talking about those hardships, those days where you broke and struggling or whatever. It's just like those are the intriguing and interesting aspects of the come up and the things that people can really relate to or look at you and be like, damn, like he came from that and now he can, or she, you know, can be now at this pedestal, you know, like it goes back to we're all human, you know, we all struggle and we all go through things. It's just, you never know.
It's like sometimes I have to give myself existential hugs to myself from the past and in the future. You know what I mean? Like in the moments where it's just like where I'm feeling okay, it's just like I have to like comfort myself in like a previous version of myself to like, you know what, in the time where you really felt hopeless, like here you are, bro, like look, you all right, you know what I mean? It's just like, and in that moment I'm gonna give myself a hug for the next time I feel like this, be like peaks and troughs, bro. Peaks and troughs.
You gotta do that. Sometimes you gotta fight yourself to love yourself. Like, man, I need to stop this negative and just be like, bam, like, cause I've almost died like 2 times. One time was like almost from a plane, like not a plane crash, but this lady, I truly believe she was like some I don't know. She tried to stab her husband with like a plastic fork.
Damn.
And he was like, nope, stopping that. So I was like, oh, okay. And she ran to the emergency exit door, and I'm like, no. Check my seatbelt. Okay, I'm good. No. Thank God she didn't read that manual, so she got like tackled by the like airplane fight. And the funny thing about it was we was only 30 minutes away from landing back from Dubai back into Chicago.
That's crazy.
I was like, can't you at least run on the runway and get my stuff and get out of here? Die from cabin pressure.
No, because they were feeling that like they were feeling that right now, and that had to be quelled right now. You know what I mean?
Dude, it's I don't know. I was just like, she had kids too. I was like, you're gonna hurt your kids, lady. Oh my goodness.
A lot of the craziest ones do, bro.
But they're such good therapists for their problems. But yeah, you gotta like, you know, not let those things really get at you. You gotta like be open and share these things. 'Cause one thing I noticed, cause I'm 24. One thing I noticed, like when you're like transition from teenager to like an adult, you just kind of hold a lot in. You know, like really share.
Absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
And you leave like, woe is me.
Yeah.
It's like nah, bro. It's not you, but there's ways to get out of it. Come with me.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. And it's just we gotta. I feel like we're just doing it right now in the sense of, you know, we're all 24, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, like we're all just literally in the same boat right now, you know, and obviously just different scenarios, but it's just that's the blessing of being able to have this platform, even if it's just one day a week, just to be able to, you know, say we've been having hard weeks, going through depression, you know, like we all go through it, bro, in our different ways, you know, but to be able to share with each other and like you said, on the airways, like who knows who's listening, bro, and who knows that how many other people that are going through the same thing, just, you know, obviously throughout the world, but just in terms of this context, you know, and just hearing people that they don't even know, but are like, yo, like they going through the same struggles. You know, he or she just whatever. You know,
Like
so,
me, just
like me. You know, so it's just how do we get past that point? I don't know. It's just like I don't know, man. You just hear so many people saying like, I feel so alone, and you know, I don't understand. Like nobody else understands my perspective. How do we, as a society, stray away from everybody feeling so alone in these types of spaces? You know, like in social spaces. Like why are we feeling like this?
I think it's like lack of community.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah.
100%. And like, how do we build that community?
Yeah.
You know, like
Well, there's a lot of people who feel like they aren't entitled to a community. You know what I mean? Like there's so many, like everybody wants to find out like where they come from, but like I feel like there's a divide between like where we choose to belong and like where we were born into. You know what I mean? And so a lot of people don't really feel like they have. A lot of people don't know their immediate family, and a lot of people don't feel in tune with like really any sort of community.
Yeah.
I don't know. I feel like I don't know. Without getting too, here's a fun question. What's a bit of advice you'd give to yourself yesterday, and a bit of advice you'd give yourself tomorrow?
damn.
Lottery numbers. No
Nah.
doubt.
True.
Bit of advice today, bit of advice tomorrow. Let's say bit of advice for today is be thankful that you have today. And a bit of advice for tomorrow is make the best from yesterday and carry that on. Because, like I said, you gotta stay dedicated. Happiness is a job.
Hell of a job.
But if
Yeah.
you do it in the right way, it doesn't feel like a job.
Yeah.
It's like, yo, I'm finna go exercise. Why are you gonna exercise, man? Were you trying to be healthy? Like, nah, I just get a boost.
Yeah. Yeah.
So that's I guess I have to say for myself.
I feel that.
Damn. You said yesterday?
Yeah.
Oh, I did today.
No, it's the same thing, man. Advice that I'd give myself yesterday is Justin and I were together yesterday. We had an interesting yesterday, but some advice I'd give myself yesterday would just be like, I don't know, just stay true to yourself, you know, just don't
Look beyond the moment.
Look beyond the moment and just like stay in your lane and know how you operate and just stay true to yourself.
See
in that
through the
moment.
white noise. I like
Yeah.
to revert to this concept of just being able to see through all white noise. You know what I mean? Being able to treat critique the same way that you take praise. You know what I mean? Just
Yeah.
is what it is, and you know, nothing more than that.
Yeah.
Because you're like, if you are dedicated and true to who you are, you're gonna continue doing what you're doing regardless, considering those things, but not shaped by it.
Yeah. No, I 100% agree, bro. And to go off that, like the advice I'd give myself for tomorrow is just to do what I love, bro. You know, just to wake up tomorrow and just do what makes me happy. I'm gonna figure that out. You know, I'm gonna figure out what scenario is gonna be best to propel me into the next day and the next day moving forward, and making sure that, you know, I'm as stable as I can be for myself, and in turn, stability within myself is only gonna help the people around me. You know,
Definitely.
so that's my 2 cents.
How about you, Daniel?
Okay. So advice I would give myself yesterday. Yesterday I would have given myself the advice to don't sweat the small stuff, or just like everything's not the end of the world.
Yeah.
Sometimes we tend to overreact, myself especially included, on just certain things, like whether it's at work or at home or you're out with your friends, or like we overreact. That's who we are. We're just humans, and sometimes it doesn't require such a big reaction.
Yeah.
So for me, I would just say don't sweat the small stuff, or just think about the bigger picture before you try to think of stuff like that.
Yeah.
And my advice for tomorrow is just to make an improvement on yourself.
Yeah.
Just like the smallest thing you got to do to improve from day to day. Just like if you change 1% every day, that's gonna be that'll add up in the long term.
100%.
So just get better. Just to try to get better every day.
Yeah.
How about you, Justin?
Advice for myself yesterday. How would I phrase it? Don't I know I'm on the ticker here. Don't allow myself to inhibit the things that I've set forth to do. Like we decided to shut it down yesterday, right? It's like we could have just continued to ignore them. We could have just continued to ignore and like made a beat or something.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like
it got to the point where it was, I don't want to say impossible, but it got to the point where it was pretty damn hard, bro. Just because there was a lot going on, bro. And
yeah, not a whole lot I could have done. But I feel like the carryover from it, like just the fact that we're even still talking about it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Don't allow myself to be inhibited by myself, I guess. And then advice for tomorrow. Just stay consistent with my intentions. Like if I set out to do something, make it habitual. You know what I mean? There's no point in trying to there's no sense in thinking that there will only be progress in a day's worth of work.
Yeah.
True stuff.
Rome wasn't built in a day.
No.
Things take time.
It was built in 2.
Wow.
And then God said,
"Let there be Rome."
or something.
Something along those lines.
Something along those lines.
Is there any shout outs, any announcements you trying to make? Anything you want your listeners or our listeners, anybody you want to be known?
Yeah, just like follow me on Snapchat.
Where can we find you, my man?
You can find me on I'll give you to my Instagram. Note I haven't really been posting, but like I said, getting back into the habits. You can find me at the number 2 WOREAL. That'll have my Snapchat, but for those who want the Snapchat,
ladies,
you know what I'm saying? Yeah.
Give them your Cash App too.
Only for the ladies look like ladies, not the ladies look like fellas. You know what I'm saying? All right. Tell them my Cash App. No, you can follow me on Snapchat at X as in X-ray, S as in super, and my last name Crenshaw, CRENSHAW.
XS Crenshaw.
Yes, sir. That'll be the snap, man. But definitely get on the Instagram and like a photo or two.
Yeah.
It's definitely for free.
Hit them DMs.
It's funny you say that because bro, I've just been kind of like not all that hungry for women lately.
True.
I feel you, bro.
I feel you, man.
Don't get me wrong.
I've taken a break
you.
from like by default. I've kind of had to because my phone's broken. But like, I don't know. I feel like it feels. It doesn't feel more real when I feel more engaged. You know what I mean? Just like my necessity to just have to stay here. You know what I mean? Like, don't let myself wander back. Don't let myself spill over too far into the future. But I don't know. Like making decisions now add up to stuff that I can visualize in the future. You know what I mean?
Definitely.
Oh, Oh, I gotta shout out a couple more, some people, man.
Shout out.
Shout out to Michael, man. He actually put me on to you guys, man. Shout out to you
That's
guys.
dope.
You know,
Shouts
Appreciate
out,
it,
Mike.
man.
great,
Yeah,
great.
Shout out
great.
Mike.
Yeah,
Mike.
man, Mike, wherever you at, man.
Mikey
you know what I'm
T.
saying? This course is dedicated to you. Shout out to my cousin Jared for giving me that job. Shoot, yeah, just
Shout out
shoot,
God.
ooh, shout out June, June. Yo, go follow this. She is a dope artist, bro. You need to mess with her, man. June, AYAJUNE. Follow her, man. Yo, she's dope, bro. Like, I'm gonna have to introduce her to y'all, cause like, just phenomenal.
Have you peeped the rest of the space here? Because I feel like you really vibe with it.
I blend with it. What are you talking about? I have to go get spiritual before all of this. Now, man, I gotta come up here. See, like, I hate this wintertime because it really makes you like demotivate yourself.
Yeah.
Like, push past that. I gotta come up here more often, bro. Because it's just like,
Always welcome, bro.
Yeah,
It's
a lot
like-
of opportunities, a lot of things gonna be popping, bro. So yeah, definitely got to get out of this winter stuff, bro.
Yeah.
Cause it's
We're gonna be phasing into
dry.
more because I know Michael's been very much involved in
yeah,
trying to make events around here like more.
dude is literally being able to pay for his what is it? I think it's save the elephants by selling beer.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
Soldiers for Wildlife.
Yeah,
Shout out Soldiers for Wildlife. Dan Scott. Mikey T. Randolph. And all them. Any announcements from our Northside podcast?
Hey, go check out Testimony. Release that on
new video, new G Money video out.
yes, sir. Go look up G Note Testimony on YouTube now. Go cop it. Go bump it. Go play that.
Go get it.
Dope video. Did that whole video in like less than a week, bro. Super exciting, bro.
Dedication.
Yeah, we like recorded on Tuesday, and then Kane and I edited it like throughout Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, and then we released it this past Sunday. So it was dope, man. So
Nice.
go check it out.
Another for the backpack.
Another for the kids. Definitely. Well, before we head out in here, we could take a quick little break so we could set up. We're gonna have Crenshaw play live, play bass.
Yes, sir.
Awesome, bro. So we're gonna take a quick little break. Stay tuned with us, and we're gonna be right back. And Crenshaw gonna vibe with us live. Our first Northside Plug live
He's gonna play us out.
instrumental performance.
Yo.
I'm geeked. We'll be gonna be right back.
This is Crenshaw live in the base, y'all.
That's it. That's it for Northside Plug today. We appreciate you all for tuning in as always. I want to thank Crenshaw for coming in.
Woo!
As always, first live performance.
Ever.
Slapping the bass. Tune in next week. We got another great show. We're going to talk more Super Bowl.
Super Bowl.
For the Super Bowl next week. So make sure y'all tune in. Make sure you follow Crenshaw and all that. What was that? 2W0.
2WO.
Oh.
20 real.
20 real. Make sure you follow him there. And we'll be back next week. Thank you all for tuning in as always.
Thank you. Gracias.
And go Blurs.
Merci.